You know this feeling. A draining workday ends. You tell yourself tonight will be different. Will you finally do that thing that matters? Meetings, messages, decisions, the constant pressure. Around 2 p.m., you promise yourself, tonight I'll read. I'll move my body. I'll work on that side project. You mean it. It feels real. Then 6 p.m. hits. You sit down for just a minute. You check one notification. And suddenly, it's 10:15. You've absorbed nothing of value. Quiet disappointment rolls in. If this is you, hear this clearly. This is not a discipline problem. It's not that you don't care enough. You care deeply. So why does it happen? What's happening every evening is a predictable biological and psychological pattern. Almost nobody teaches you how to navigate it, so you lose to it night after night. But once you understand it, you can work with it instead. Let me show you exactly how. There's a classic study that explains everything. Researchers brought students into a room with 2 bowls. One bowl had warm chocolate chip cookies, the other had raw radishes. One group got cookies, the other group had to resist and eat only radishes. Imagine sitting in a room that smells like a bakery, chewing a bitter radish. Afterward, both groups got an impossible geometry puzzle. The real test was persistence. How long would they keep trying before quitting? The cookie group lasted 19 minutes. The radish group? Barely 8 minutes. They gave up more than twice as fast. Same kind of students, same puzzle. The only difference? One group had already spent their self-control. Psychologists call this ego-depletion. Self-control operates like a muscle that gets tired. Resisting a temptation once makes you weaker for the next. That's the depletion in ego-depletion. This was psychologist Roy Baumeister's landmark experiment. It changed how we understand willpower. Baumeister showed that self-control is a limited resource. Use it up, and you can't just push harder. Every workday, you are the radish group. You resist distractions, manage tone, force focus. By 6 p.m., your reservoir is empty. Your brain is literally running on less fuel. Then you ask it to make smart choices about the next 4 hours. That's the trap. Now, let me show you the way out. The first thing you need isn't a schedule, not a habit tracker, not more motivation. You need a clean psychological boundary between work and everything else. I call this the hard stop ritual. Here's exactly how it works. When you truly finish work, not just pause, do 3 things in order. Step 1, close every work-related tab. Close email, close apps. Don't leave them open in the background. Close. Step 2, physically move your body to a different space, even just the other side of the room. Step 3, change one physical thing about your environment or appearance. Change your clothes. Or turn on a lamp instead of the overhead light. Put on different music, shift context. This takes maybe 2 minutes, but it breaks the work mode loop your brain is stuck in. Your brain navigates through context cues. Same chair, same screen glow, same light. Work mode remains. The hard stop ritual tells your nervous system the threat is over. You can come down now. Now, let's talk about what comes after. Most advice fails because it ignores your depleted state. When you're mentally exhausted, you cannot make good decisions, so stop making them in the evening. Make decisions earlier, when your brain is fresh. On a morning or weekend, build an evening blueprint, not a rigid schedule that never survives reality. A flexible blueprint with 3 zones. Zone 1 is decompression. First, 30-45 minutes after your hard stop ritual. During this zone, do anything restorative that doesn't involve a screen. The only rule, no phone. Walk around the block, shower, sit outside, cook something simple, let your brain come down. If you skip this and jump straight to content, you're not resting, you're numbing. Zone 2 is a single anchor activity, not 5 things. Pick one thing that makes the evening worthwhile. Reading 20 pages, 30 minutes of movement, 1 hour on your side project, journaling. Decide this anchor in advance, in the morning, then you don't choose at night, you just start. Zone 3 is wind down, the final 45-60 minutes before bed, only purpose, prepare for sleep. Low light, no screens, calming activities, fiction, gentle music, stretching. If you skip wind down and go screen to pillow, sleep quality drops. Tomorrow's reservoir starts depleted. That's the evening blueprint. Hard stop, decompression, 1 anchor, wind down, 4 parts. Simple enough to remember, flexible enough to actually use every single night. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. I know what you're thinking. This sounds nice, but I'm so drained by evening that even this feels impossible. You're right to think that. There's a missing piece, your physical energy. Decision fatigue and physical energy are deeply connected. Low blood sugar, dehydration, no movement, resources deplete faster. Protecting your evenings actually starts during your workday. 3 simple fuel stops. Eat a real lunch, not snacks at your desk. Fuel your brain with proper food. Drink water throughout the day. Mild dehydration impairs cognitive function. Move briefly mid-afternoon. A 5-minute walk around 3 p.m. restores focus almost like a nap. Research from the University of Illinois found a 5-minute walking break restores attention significantly. These aren't lifestyle suggestions. They're evening protection tactics. Refuel the tank before it's empty. Now, we must talk about your phone. It's the biggest threat to your evening. And not because you're weak. Your phone is designed to exploit exactly the depleted state you're in at 7 p.m. Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, explains how apps are engineered to hook us. When depleted, your brain defaults to the path of least resistance. The phone offers infinite content, zero friction. No decisions required, just open and scroll. The algorithm knows you're tired. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that says stop, is offline, so you don't stop. You cannot willpower out of this. You must change the environment. 4 specific tactics. Tactic 1. Put your phone charger in a different room. When evening starts, leave it there. If you need an alarm, buy a real alarm clock. They cost $12. Tactic 2. Log out of your most distracting apps at the start of the evening. Don't just close, log out. The extra friction of typing your password breaks the autopilot loop. Wait, I didn't want this. Tactic 3. If you want to watch something, decide what before opening any app. Write it down. Open the app, search for exactly that, watch, close. No browsing. Browsing is the trap. Tactic 4. Keep a physical book next to where you sit. Make the good default easier than the bad. Your hand will find the book before the phone. That's architecture, not willpower. These tactics work because they don't rely on moment-to-moment strength. They rely on design. You're not fighting the algorithm. You're simply not giving it access to you. One more layer, the guilt. When you waste an evening, you lose more than time. You lose a piece of self-trust. Every wasted evening becomes evidence you're not the kind who follows through. Over weeks and months, this accumulates. You stop making plans because you've learned not to trust yourself. That quiet giving up is far more damaging than any single wasted evening. But hear this, you're not starting from zero. The fact that you're even thinking about this means you haven't given up. The system I've laid out doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency enough to shift the evidence. One evening where you follow the blueprint, then another. Each one deposits into your self-trust account. The goal isn't a perfect evening. It's an evening where you do the anchor activity. That's enough. So, here's the one thing to try tonight. When you finish work, do the hard stop ritual. Close everything, stand up, change one thing about your environment. Then, this is critical, don't open your phone. Just don't. Spend the first 30 minutes doing something physical, no screen, a walk, a shower, cooking. Notice how your mind feels after that 30-minute buffer. Compare it to the usual scroll crash. Notice the difference between decompressing and numbing. One restores you, the other drains you further. You know this feeling. The draining workday, the 2 p.m. promise that tonight will be different. And now you know how to actually make it different, not through more discipline, but by understanding your brain. You will still be tired at 6 p.m. That doesn't go away, but now you have a sequence to follow. Following a sequence doesn't require willpower, it just requires starting. So tonight, give yourself the hard stop ritual. Close, stand, change one thing, then no phone for 30 minutes. Let your brain come down and do your one anchor activity, even if it's just 20 pages. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with a little more trust in yourself. And that's the real victory. You know this feeling, the draining workday, the promise. But now the promise has a blueprint. Your evenings don't have to keep collapsing. You can reclaim them, not with more effort, but with smarter structure. Remember, it's not a discipline problem. It's a depletion problem. You're not broken. You're human. And now you have the science and the steps to work with your humanity, not against it. The Cookie and Radish students weren't morally weaker. Their tank was empty. So is yours at 6 p.m. Now you can refill before you crash and navigate the evening with a map. Dr. Gloria Mark's research shows once interrupted, it takes 23 minutes to refocus. Protect your evening from that scatter. Hydration study in the Journal of Nutrition. Even mild dehydration shrinks cognitive performance. Drink water all day. Baumeister's egodepletion, Mark's attention cost, hydration science, all point to the same truth. Your evening collapse is not a character flaw. It's a predictable system failure, and you can fix the system. So tonight, take the first small step. Hard stop ritual, no phone for 30 minutes, anchor activity. You've been losing evenings not because you lack will, but because you've been fighting biology without the right tools. Now, you have the tools, the hard stop, the blueprint, the environment hacks. Use them. A wasted evening becomes a teacher. A reclaimed evening builds momentum. Start building. You know this feeling. You get through a draining workday, but tonight, you have a different ending. That 2 p.m. promise can become reality, not by magic, but by a ritual and a plan. your self-trust will grow, one anchor activity at a time, one phone-free buffer at a time. You're not aiming for a perfect life. You're aiming to show yourself that you follow through. That evidence, night by night, rewrites the story you believe about yourself. You know this feeling, and now you know how to change it. So try it tonight. You've got this.